Planned obsolescence is something people have been talking about for years, but I don't think it's as clear cut as a company setting up their product for failure. I think it has more to do with the increased inconvenience of repairability and then the overall lack of repairability in products. I love Apple. I'm primarily an Apple user, but I'm going to pick on them quite a bit in this video because they are a prime example of the lack of repairability. Let's start off with soldered on components because this is something that when it was introduced, people were like, well, now we can't upgrade anything. And that's actually almost unacceptable how we have accepted this. Other manufacturers do the same thing, but like I said, I'm gonna pick on Apple. Why is the RAM and the SSD soldered on? I have no idea. The RAM, I'll give them the benefit of the doubt where it's like they're using that unified memory. So, they're doing something a little bit unique with that. Let's give them the benefit of the doubt. You're getting 16, 32 gigs of RAM. You're probably fine for the future. But storage, your SSD has a finite number of rewrite cycles. So technically, your time with that device is dictated on the integrity of that SSD. I feel like an SSD is something that maybe we could sacrifice a little bit of thinness to have the correct pins and connectors to just swap out an SSD. But no, it's soldered on. We can't upgrade to more storage if we need. We just need to depend on external SSDs and hard drives. Like by the time it fails, you'll probably need a new device because it will just be that slow and sluggish. But why even take that risk? If someone wants to keep it for longer, or if something goes wrong with that drive, which does happen, why not just be able to replace it very easily, either on your own or by taking it to a repair shop and then they could do it for very cheap. But no, now we got to bring it to Apple. They do our warranty. They just give us a new device. We're just swapping devices like that. Like, just for what, really? It's becoming even more and more rare. It's kind of like that micro SD card slot in Android phones where it's like, it used to be such a popular thing and then now it's less and less and less to the point where we're going to get to just everything is soldered on, not replaceable, and you're just going to throw out the computer because Apple's not even going to repair it. They give you a new one, they put the other one in a landfill. I don't know. It just seems like a waste, really. This leads me to my next complaint, I guess. This is just a complaint video. No, it's just to promote the discussion of this. But the battery. Why the is the battery glued on? That's what I want to know. If your battery's messed up or your battery's degraded to a point where maybe it's time to switch, get a new one, why can't I just get in there with a screwdriver, take off 4 to 6 screws, take the battery off, unclip the connector, and put a new one in? Why do I have to buy a special chemical to drip in there, dissolve the glue, and then pry that battery out? I just feel like it's unnecessary. The battery being glued in doesn't benefit any consumer, it doesn't benefit the computer at all. We could easily have the backplate come off, which we're gonna get to. We're gonna talk about backplates. The backplate should come off, you have clear access to the battery, you undo the screws, undo the connector, the screws secured in there well enough because it's not like there's a lot of movement in there. And then you put the backplate on, you turn the computer on, and it works with your new battery. It doesn't work like that. You either have to get the chemical, dissolve the glue, pry it out, or take it to Apple and they'll do it for you, put a new battery in it, which is not the end of the world. But the question is always just why? Because if you cared about the consumer, if you cared about them being self-sufficient to do it themselves or just to not blow repair costs out of the water, because even if you take this to an independent repair shop, they got to deal with it. It's a headache for them. They're going to charge you accordingly. So just, I don't know. I don't get why we're not using screws and we're gluing these things down when they don't need to be glued down. I said we're going to talk about backplates. I can't speak on the Windows side, so if you guys have opened up your Windows laptops, let me know in the comments below how easy or difficult that was. But the MacBooks are designed to be as complex to open up as possible. Firstly, Apple's special screws. You got to get a bit for that. Okay, fine. We bought the bit. We have it for life now. We can open up whatever Apple product we want. Once you unscrew the screws, the backplate doesn't come off. I gotta massage it. I gotta get pop these complex clips, which should just pop off a lot easier than they do. But I gotta pop the clips. I have to massage it like I'm a chiropractor trying to pull the plate off. I gotta hold it at this angle, slide up, tickle it here, and then it comes off. So why is it such a chore to open up the backplate? The backplate shouldn't be that hard to get off. Sometimes you want to get in there, clean it, taking off the perimeter screws, a couple clips, that should be what it is. So now that you've listened to all my gripes with the repairability of the MacBook, that's basically what Tim Cook, if you're watching, that's what you could do to improve the repairability and just the friendliness to consumers, because all of these inconveniences, and that's what they are. It's an inconvenience to repair. Make it more difficult for the user himself or herself to do the repairs themselves, to both save money and get experience, because just if they're willing to take on that task, why not just let them do that task? It's not a hard task to do. It's not very complex. There's plenty of videos online. Why not make the consumer a little bit more self-sufficient? It's a plus one in the eyes of your company. Like in the vision, not the vision, what am I trying to say? Your company's public image is then increased, because we all love that. We all love a company that cares about us getting the most out of our product. And a lot of us want to get the most out of our product. If you're not a power user that's gaming very intensively, that's increasingly, let's say you're editing 4K footage and then, wow, you're within 3 months, you're editing 8K footage, you're kind of pushing your machine, you might need to upgrade to the latest one. There's always going to be people that need to upgrade. For those consumers who are just the average consumers, a good way to put it, where they just have a laptop, they want a computer to do YouTube, Netflix, whatever they want to do on their laptop. Maybe it's work. For those consumers who are not constantly pushing it to their max, that won't need to upgrade very frequently, why not just give them that flexibility, right? Why just milk them out of spending more money on a product they might not need when they can just repair it? That's kind of the whole point of this, because if you give them that ability, I guarantee you next time when they really need a laptop, they're going to go buy yours. They're not going to go look elsewhere because they're fed up with how the battery's glued in, the SSDs soldered on. They're going to go seek out someone else if that's the case. And if they have specific beliefs of like, look, like I don't need a new laptop, I just need a new battery. That's kind of my point. There's some hope in this whole repairability, upgradability laptop world. And that's a company called Framework. And it would be great if they sponsored this video. It would be great if they sent me a laptop, but they didn't. I'm kind of just a fan from a distance. What I like about Framework is that every single component could be replaced, could be customized, could be added on. You could upgrade it. You can go for a new graphics card. You can go for different ports. You could change your keyboard. You could move the keyboard over, add a number pad. You kind of have flexibility that you haven't had ever, as far as I'm concerned. You were never able to change ports on any computer. Let me know in the comments below, but I'm pretty young. I've never seen anything like that. Of course, storage as well. You could add drives, swap drives. You could do a lot. And more importantly, you could replace and repair every single component on that computer. The trackpad, the keyboard, the battery, the motherboard. You could take it out. You could put a new one in if anything happens, or if you want to increase the longevity of that product, you need a little bit more horsepower, get a new CPU, get a new graphics card, get some more RAM. And that's something we've lost, and that's something I really appreciate Framework offering, is that if we want this kind of device, it's out there. I want to just shift gears now, because if you've watched some of my other videos and you kind of have an idea of the kind of person I am and what I'm interested in, I do like cars, and I do like working on my own cars, doing my repairs, maybe little upgrades, stuff like that. And I feel like the automotive industry is a prime example of this inconveniencing repairs. And I think a good example of this that is very recent is Hyundai's brake fiasco. I don't even know what to call it. Basically, on one of Hyundai's newer electric models, you need a specific scan tool with Hyundai's specific software that costs 60 bucks a month to just retract the brake pads to change them. Now, brake pads are a fairly regular maintenance item, not as regular as an oil change, not as frequent as an oil change. There's a bigger gap in between uses, but brake pads wear down. You're gonna change them. They're not that hard to change if you've done a few. You maybe know a friend that does them. He'll do them for you, something like that. Maybe you wanna do them yourself. You compress the caliper, you take the brake pads out, you put new brake pads in, you put a new rotor, and you kind of just put it back together. So why do I need a scan tool to just retract the brake pads so I could take them out and put new ones in? An expensive scan tool along with Hyundai's software, these all just add up as an inconvenience to the consumer who's willing to do the work themselves, or maybe they're a mechanic themselves, and now it's like, oh, now I need this extra expense on my back. The point is, it's just an added inconvenience. Now, I do have a solution for this, and it's a very consumer-friendly solution. I'm giving it out completely for free, so if there's any car company execs, just go ahead and take this. If you absolutely need to use an electronic system to press in the calipers to take the brake pads out, why don't you put a service mode that's available on the car so that whoever's working on it gets in there, puts it in service mode, and it will press in the calipers so that you could do your job. I feel like this would be such a big step, especially if Hyundai does this. if they decide to just scrap that whole system that they have where you need this specific scanner with this software, it's not that complicated. A brake job is a very simple thing, especially for experienced mechanics. This is not something that requires all these gadgets and computers. It's a very straightforward process. So having a built-in system on the vehicle, a brake service mode, now you can do your brake pad job and then you go back in the car, disable service mode, and then you're back on the road. I think the lesson of this video is to just buy older stuff. Just buy an older truck, older car, buy an older laptop. Like, then you'll be able to use it for a while because you'll be able to repair it, keep getting use out of it. So that basically wraps up the video. I really want to hear from you guys. Let me know what you think. Do you think planned obsolescence is like a very blatant thing, or do you think it's the lack of repairability that they try to encourage getting a new device? Because you can repair it, but it's just increasingly more difficult, which we're going to come to a point where, oh, well, I'm just not going to bother trying to repair it. So anyways, I want to hear from you guys. Let me know in the comments below what you think. Let me know your opinion. Let me know if you have any experiences repairing these things and how annoying they are. So anyways, thanks for watching. Peace out. I'll see you guys in the next video.